Hi there and welcome back to Triplicate, and today something a little bit different. Dremels, yes, Dremels plural. So quite a long time ago now I bought a Dremel, and I bought a proper Dremel rather than a copy, because all the people I'd seen who had copies, they hadn't lasted 5 minutes, so I bought the proper one and it worked fine for a bit. And I came to use it for a job and came to turn it on and dead, as I have written on it, so I know which one it is. So I was in the middle of a job and I needed to do it, so rather than break off and try and find out what was wrong with this one, I bought another one exactly the same, and this one works alright. The problem with it is, if you come to change the tool, the little button, and it's going to work now, no it isn't, the little button here that holds the shaft while you undo the nut doesn't work anymore. I'm guessing it's just a plastic button and the end's got broken. So what I'm proposing to do today is try and fix both of them, and worst case make one fully functional one. So first up, let's have a look at the dead one. Okay, first up I suppose we should try the obvious and check the fuse. I'll get it out using the end of the Dremel spanner. And she comes. It's a 5 amp. Okay, the meter is on continuity, and well, that's pretty decisive. So if we put the fuse back in and turn the on switch to on, and I guess we just want that to ordinary ohms. Is there any continuity? Half a meg ohm. It implies there's something going on in there, but not a lot. Guess that's across the control electronics. So I think we need to go into the drill. So I guess the first thing to check is that the brushes aren't completely trashed. So I suppose the end of this tool probably is meant to take these apart. Ugh, a bit stiff. Well, that looks alright to me. Try the second one. Yeah, that's okay too. I'm just going to get a small torch and shine a light down the hole just to check, see if I can see if the commutator's disintegrated. Okay, the chances of being able to see with the camera are nil. So you're going to have to take my word for it. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with that, just peering down the hole. So I guess we're going to have to open her up. Okay, found the relevant Torx bit and just got them mostly unscrewed. That one's out. That one's out and that one's out. So, is it going to come apart? seems reluctant. It depends where it comes apart, I suppose. Just come apart in the middle there. Okay, should we try a small screwdriver? And then 4 screws. It comes apart along the middle there. Does that mean that this, is it glued on? It's glued on. However, it can come off. I know what it is. Should have a look. Yes, that's glued over the joint. Come off. Try again. That's better. Right, so I'm guessing this one has to come off as well. No user serviceable parts. I guess if you send it back to repairs, they have fresh stickers to stick on. So is that just going to drop apart now? Yeah. Ish. There we go. Right, I'm going to focus in at this point, so if loads of small pieces drop out, I'm hoping the video will show where. There we go. Okay, so let's see if the rotor windings are okay. Well, I will. Spin this. So I'm holding the brushes against the commutator here, and these wires are twixt the brushes and meter. I think that's alright. So I think at this point we're going to have to go further in. It's convenient these come off. Right, so I think the only thing is the cable clamp that's holding it into that side. Torx bit does again. So we will dispose of that and hopefully lift the whole thing out like that. How easy was that? Okay, there's a piece of rubber across there, and does it all come out? Why that bearing has a piece of rubber around, I don't know. So, how does it come apart? Does that, yeah. So it's got the switch on the bottom, and that I think it just slides into there. Certainly that comes off there. So now we can measure the resistance round the field windings. That pair is that winding and that pair is that winding. So should we nothing across there. .23 ohms across there. So it appears that this winding, which I will get a pen and mark, So it appears that this winding is faulty. Right, I think the camera is going to be able to see this. So if we look down this side of this winding, which is the faulty one, it's just the edge of the winding, all nice and clean. But if we look down this side, we can see some crud. Now I don't know whether that's just muck, possibly it is. I will take something finer than this and poke it out. Okay, we have here, you can't see too well, a piece of tin copper wire. It seems to have got it, and what is it? It looks like a piece of plastic. No. Maybe I've disturbed the wire. Not sure that wire's going where it's supposed to. Definitely flopping about a bit. Okay, so I was poking about with this, and so this is the one wire coming up to the connector here, and the other side it just popped out, and so I pushed it actually down to the bottom here so I can get at it easier, and the end there I cleaned up with a piece of sandpaper. So if I put one end of the meter in there and grab that with the other end, we get connectivity, we get 24 ohms to be precise. So was that the fault? I think it was. Just this end of wire wasn't making good contact with that clip. No, so that clip. Okay, so I pulled this little clip out of here, and I think we can see it on the camera just there. There is the end of a bit of wire. So the bit of wire has, the wire has just broken off in the clip, and I guess the housing was just holding the end in till I started poking at it. However, that doesn't leave me enough free wire to reach up and make a new connection, so I'm going to have to join on an extra bit of wire and see if I can find a bit of that enamelled copper wire. Okay, so I've soldered the end of this on, and this is just I don't know, we'd say 25 amp or something wire, and one strand thereof, so that's enamelled, insulated, and this isn't, so one to watch. And now we need to attach that. So what happens is, I believe that slides down into there, we pull the wire through that slot, and then this, you can see, has a small slot there, is pushed down, and the wire is forced into that little groove, and for the insulated stuff then that sort of cuts through the insulation, you hope, and that's how it's assembled. We will leave as much of that as we can. There. Okay, so that's back where it's supposed to be, that, and hopefully if I hold on to that and push that back down into there. Okay, so she's in after a bit of a fight and poking screwdrivers down there. I guess in the factory they have a special tool for doing that, and I've stuck some Cotton tape down here just to insulate that, because that's no longer insulated wire. And if we get the meter out in continuity mode, we can see we have 24 odd ohms and there. So time to put it all back together. I think we'll call that one a success. So here we are, victim number 2. I'm not going to show taking this apart because it's exactly the same as the other one and you've seen it. So I'll bring you back when we're in there. Okay, here we are, we're in, and the benefit of hindsight, cutting down the middle of the labels is easier than peeling them off. Oh well, there we go. I had a little more fun. This little cover, which for some reason I'd taken off the other one, doesn't want to come off with the tool on. So, that looks like somebody's drawn a mark on that. I realised I haven't taken it out, so give me a minute. Turn it off, these side pieces out, and out we should all come. Come on. There we go. So this is the little switch that holds the shaft, and Doesn't appear. The only thing, this was like that, so maybe that had slipped round. You can't see that, can you? Zoom her in. So this, look, when I took it apart, was like that. I'd have to look at the video. So maybe it had just slipped round and stopped the button going into the hole. We will just lift the button out. So that's the little pin, and that's the button. Not sure how the button even comes out. I think you have to push it out and release those clips. I may just take a light and a magnifying glass and just look in there to check there's nothing wrong. But if we have a look at this, again I'll look under the magnifying glass. Does it look a little worn? Should have taken them both apart and compared the two. Right, so we're asking a bit much of the camera here. We're going to try anyway. So this is the little pin, and that bit sticking down is the bit that jams the shaft. And okay, as I rock it round, you can see that side is worn down. It's going to work itself round, so that is the side you're trying to use to jam the shaft. And if we look at the shaft, okay, you can hopefully see that it's worn here as well. There's a groove worn in there on all of them. Just on that side, yes, I think you can see that. And unfortunately, though we could probably find a replacement for the pin, that is part of the main motor shaft. So what I propose to do is take the button out of the case and leave a hole, and when I want to change the tool, simply stick a small screwdriver down and into the hole like that, which is not ideal, but it'll keep the poor thing working for a little longer. So I shall do that and reassemble it. Okay, here we go. Bit of surgical spirit. And it doesn't say dead on it anymore unless you're very, very carefully. And some double-sided tape, and the labels are back on, and you can't tell I've been in there. And the other one, so the button, the little pin and the spring are out, and small screwdriver, Dremel spanner, small screwdriver in the hole, okay, apart again, grips on here where the shaft jamming mechanism supposed to be. See if we can get it undone at that. I think that's the problem, it's actually got so tight on. Ah, it is undone. Ha! So I tried the grips on the end of the shafts there, and that obviously worked and I hadn't realised. Okay, back together. Okay, on again, but not hopefully too tight, so can it get it undone with it not on ridiculously tight. Oh yes, we can. So, tighten her up. Get her loose again. So, it sort of works. We'll call that a sort of I think. So I think that's probably enough dremeling. So we'll call it a day on this video. So if you like the channel, please subscribe. If you've got anything to say on Dremels, please leave a comment, thumbs up. If you ever want to see a Dremel again, and for now it's goodbye from Triplicate, home of interesting electronics. Goodbye.